Hello, Wealth Tycoons. Do you enjoy Spotify Wraps at the end of the year? Today, more than 550 million people use Spotify every month, and 80% of people are in awe of Spotify ads. There are over 236 million people who pay to listen to their favorite songs. There is a good chance that Spotify is your go-to application. I am sure that you know Spotify didn't just appear out of somewhere and started taking over music. Not at all. The application that has got huge in years had to fight hard just to get started. Things never went smoothly for Spotify. In fact, Spotify's history is full of turns, risks, and even some rebelliousness. Sounds like a spicy story? Well, it is. And in this video, we are going to touch every aspect of it. In the middle of the 2000s, music was in huge trouble. The music business was in panic because people were getting songs without permission and people stopped buying music CDs. It wasn't fair that artists were unpaid, record companies were losing money, and fans just wanted an easy way to listen that didn't cost a lot or break the law. That's where a guy from Sweden came up with an idea. Daniel Ek began to think about big ideas when he was only 23 years old. He wasn't a normal guy. He was a Swedish tech genius who loved music and was very good at seeing possibilities. In 2006, everything in the music business was a mess. Online shoppers didn't really buy CDs or songs anymore. Instead, they used sites like Napster, LimeWire, and the Pirate Bay to get songs for free. It was quick and easy, but it was against the law, and the music business was hurting because of it. The music business made about $25 billion around the world in 1999. That amount had dropped to about $15 billion by 2014. That's a huge drop. He, himself, was a huge music lover, and he was on the side of the crowd who wanted to listen to music for free, or pay the minimum amount for that. So he thought, what if we better ease listening to music, but in a legal way? In that way, it wouldn't be stealing. You can sense that this idea was good for listeners, but not for the music industry. Hence, when Daniel tried to talk to music companies about his idea, he wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms. Why would they give their valuable music to a young Swedish startup founder who is not bringing anything for them on the plate? This was the beginning of the famous licensing hell. Daniel and co-founder Martin Lorenzon worked hard to make their dream come true. They talked to Universal, Sony, Warner, and EMI for years on end, and it wasn't easy to get these companies to agree. They wanted more than just words. They needed power, money, and a good share in the company. In exchange for money, Daniel and Martin offered them stock, which is basically a small share of Spotify. In 2008, 7 countries, Sweden, Finland, Norway, France, Spain, and the UK, got Spotify for the first time. It was like magic for people who love music. No more dangerous files or links that don't work. People had never seen something that was easy to play. Just a click, and you can enjoy your favorite Whitney Houston song. If you think this is all about Spotify, not. That was just the beginning. It took Spotify a while to take over the world. No, it was a steady, slow climb. Their big dream was to let everyone everywhere listen to music, but they had to take things slowly at first. That's why music rights are hard to understand. When it comes to selling songs, each country has its own laws and rules. So Spotify slowly grew by going from country to country while carefully navigating those tricky legal issues. There was more to it than just releasing an app. They had to make sure they could play music everywhere. At last, Spotify broke into the US market in 2011. The US is the biggest market for music in the world, so getting into it was a big deal. Also, guess what? A lot of people loved it. By 2013, a big event was taking place. Streaming was no longer just a trend. It was quickly becoming the main way people listened to music. In 2014, streaming sales brought in more money than CD sales for the first time ever. Then, by 2017, streaming got even better than downloading. No longer did people have to buy songs or CDs separately, because Spotify made it so simple to listen to any music whenever you wanted without having to own it. You will be shocked to see the rapid change in numbers when it comes to streaming. In 2010, streaming only brought in $400 million around the world. By 2020, it had grown to $13.4 billion. Crazy growth, right? And in 2024, streaming brought in more than 80% of all recorded music sales around the world. This revolution made something possible that no one ever thought was even possible. Spotify is like the backbone to this change. It didn't just go with the wave, it made it happen. The site fixed up the music business that was in bad shape. It gave people what they wanted: the ease of use, choice, and power. Spotify not only changed the way we listen to music, but it also brought all of music into the 21st century. There's no going back now. Of course, not everyone is happy about Spotify's growth. A lot of people, mostly musicians, were upset as the site got bigger and stronger. That is so because Spotify gives artists $0.003 to $0.005 for every play. That means you get a very small amount of money every time someone listens to your song. About 250 people have to watch your song for you to make $1. That's a lot of plays for not much money. Now, big stars like Taylor Swift may still make a lot of money since a lot of people listen to their music. However, the numbers can be very discouraging for smaller, independent artists who aren't big names. It would be awful to work so hard on a song that only gets a few thousand views and earns you enough to buy a coffee. That is unfair. A lot of well-known artists have spoken out against Spotify. Taylor Swift took all of her music off of Spotify in 2014 because she thought it was worth something and shouldn't be shared for free. She didn't come back until 2017, but only after she got better terms that gave her more power. It's not just her. A lot of artists, including Thom Yorke from Radiohead, David Byrne, Adele, and Garth Brooks, have spoken out against how Spotify charges for its services. Not only were there complaints, but there have also been cases. Spotify settled a huge case with Wixen Music Publishing for $1.6 billion in 2018 over unpaid royalties. Then, in 2021, songwriters said the site wasn't giving them enough mechanical royalties, which are like songwriter fees. Also, in 2022, a movement called #Justice at Spotify became popular. Artists wanted better pay, like at least 1 cent per stream. Spotify, on the other hand, says it gives 70% of its profits to people who own the rights to the music. That sounds fair. Many times that money goes to record companies, publishers, and other middlemen before it gets to the artist. A lot of artists say they're only getting cents of their creation from the platform that is #1 in the music industry. While Spotify may have been the first to play music, it's not the only streaming platform these days. You can stream a lot of music, and lots of big names are trying to get your attention. Apple Music is the first one. It started streaming in 2015 and made a strong start by using the huge number of people who already used iTunes. Apple made it very easy to switch if you already had an iPhone or bought music on iTunes. They also did very well with early releases. Remember when Drake's big record came out and was only available on Apple Music for a short time? The platform grew quickly because of moves like that. More than 110 million people around the world now pay for Apple Music. Not bad at all for starting late. Amazon Music is another one. It was smart of Amazon to connect its music service to its already famous Prime membership. Why not get some songs too if you are already getting movies and shipping for free? They also push their streaming service hard with products that work with Alexa. Say, "Alexa, play some music," and the music starts right away. This method worked especially well for casual fans, and now more than 80 million people use Amazon Music. And don't forget about YouTube Music. YouTube is different because it has a huge number of free users and a unique mix of music videos and audio tracks. YouTube is already a place where people from all over the world spend hours watching music videos, so it makes sense to switch to their music service. And in places where paying for music isn't common, YouTube's free plan with ads makes a lot of sense. People are just starting to look into streaming, but this service is a major player. Then there are sites like Tidal and Deezer that are more specific. When Jay-Z helped to start Tidal, the company tried to stand out by providing very high-quality sound and focused on fair pay and ownership for artists. When Tidal was in its toddler stage, Deezer built a strong fan base in Latin America and Europe. It's not as well known everywhere, but it has its own group of people who like it. Hey, are you enjoying watching the video? Are you having fun listening to Spotify's spicy story? If yes, you can tell that by giving this video a like. Your one like can motivate us to keep bringing such well-researched videos for you. Back to the topic. No matter how many competitors arrived, Spotify always remained number one, by always focusing on how the person feels. Personalization has become their strength. Think of Discover Weekly and those playlists that everyone shares at the end of the year. A lot of information is used by Spotify to figure out what you like before you even do. They've also taken chances by adding podcasts and other things to their catalog besides music. They are still in charge, at least for now, because they are brave. In 2019, Spotify did something brave. They decided that silence was no longer a choice. They didn't want you to just come for the music and leave when it was over. They were interested in being with you all the time, even when you sleep, cook, drive, work out, or just hang out. So they put everything they had into podcasts. They bought a bunch of podcast companies like it was a shopping mall. The first thing they did was buy Gimlet Media, which makes hit shows like Reply All. When they got Anchor, a tool that made it easy for anyone to make and share podcasts, we were done. Not satisfied with that, they also bought Parcast, which was known for its exciting true crime shows, and The Ringer, which mixed sports, pop culture, and smart commentary. But Spotify didn't just want to own podcast sites, they also wanted to be famous. They made deals that made headlines that were very big. Which one is bigger? More than $100 million should be spent on Spotify alone to bring the Joe Rogan experience, and that's where everything changed. Soon, they had deals with the likes of Michelle Obama, Kim Kardashian, and even Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to be their only radio guests. They also got into fiction and comics by making Spotify original shows and working with DC Comics to turn superhero stories into audiobooks. It was kind of like Netflix for your head, but better. All of their efforts paid off. Over 100 countries quickly made Spotify the best place to listen to podcasts, even beating out Apple, which used to be the leader in this field. Many people suddenly started liking podcasts. They were everywhere all of a sudden. That's so because it costs money to play music. Every stream means giving artists and labels royalties. But podcasts were made and kept on the platform for a lot less money. Also, people tend to listen to whole shows, sometimes for an hour or more. That makes people stay longer, which is great for ad income. It had more than 5 million podcasts and more than 100 million users listening to them by 2023. It all started when they realized that silence wasn't golden anymore. What started as a music app became a global audio empire. Spotify is more than just a place to listen to music anymore. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's changing how we listen to all kinds of music. Spotify wants to be your go-to spot for music, podcasts, live chats, and new things we haven't seen yet. From the way they're moving, it looks like they're just beginning. There is more that Spotify is looking forward to providing their users. They use AI to really figure out what you like. It's not just the style or author, it's also your mood, the time of day, and even your habits. Soon Spotify would be like having your own personal DJ who really gets you. Also, guess what? In the US, they already have an AI DJ that talks to you, chooses songs for you, and changes things up all the time. That's crazy. Then there is the push around the world. Spotify is no longer just interested in the US and Europe. They've moved to India, Russia, and Nigeria, all of which have lots of young people and phones in everyone's hand. That's smart because most people in those areas connect to the internet on their phones, so they're making plans cheaper, and things work better on those. They have the long term in mind here. They also want to do more to help artists. With Spotify for Artists, musicians can check on how their songs are doing, promote new songs, sell merchandise, and even try to get people to buy show tickets. It's not just streaming anymore. Spotify wants to be the stage, the merchandise store, and the tour manager all in one. They are even trying live sound. Do you remember when Clubhouse was all over the place? Spotify jumped on that trend with a service they called Green Room, which they later changed its name to Spotify Live. It hasn't found its place yet, but it shows they're not afraid to try new things. Last but not least, be happy. There are deals going on right now at Spotify for things that you can only find on their site, like live concert recordings, special editions of songs, and even albums. Also, artists can try out fan subscriptions, which let fans pay directly for extra material. That's the whole point, to make Spotify more than just a place to listen to music. Let me take a break and inform you that we have created an ebook for the top 100 businesses that you can start this year, and we will give away this ebook for free. Just comment down on our video, and I will share the link to download it. Let's get back to the video. Spotify didn't just change how we listen to music, it turned everything on its head. Spotify turned music into more of an experience than a thing to buy. We take it with us everywhere, and it always plays what fits our mood, the moment, or even our taste before we even know what we want, like Netflix but in audio format. You have a lot of choices, the music is always playing, and it's specifically what you like. So, do you have your favorite Spotify mix? Do share with us in the comments section below. If you want us to cover any particular topic, leave it in the comments section and we will take it from there. Till then, you can check out our already existing gem of the videos. If you enjoyed watching the video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you soon in another video.